Yeah. Okay, so the Overmaster is looking at what I think is an absolute instant chip of a hand. Uh, so two fire sigils, auto tread, Grendon, drone, torch. That's looking great. And then two throne rooms. So two power, missing a color, and two bricks. I think that one has to.
Yeah, probably need to toss it back. And we will see that they will toss it back here. And
That's
on
looking a
male
bit
side,
more like it.
gonna try to get the hand cams here for a second if I can, but while we're getting the hand cams set up, male is looking at a hand of 3 power, an Icaria, a Hojin, a Krull that we just drew, a Bubble Shield, and a Valkyrie Enforcer. So gotta like the Icaria and the Hojin, but no Kira here, and that's not the best time to draw your Krull.
Oh yeah, that's one of the risks of playing Krull in your deck. That sometimes you just draw a market blank. Like it's not a completely brick draw because Guru Kira has 8 ways of accessing the market, and what better thing to put in your market besides, hey, this is a card I can't ever possibly cast. But yeah, you don't want to ever draw the Krull. And in the meantime, Overmaster on the play, 1 drop, 2 drop. He's a pretty happy camper. Baby Icaria comes down, and you can believe that she's not long for this world, as the Total Pioneer generates 2 additional power from the Silex, and I have to imagine we're going to see Jack come down and just blast.
Yeah, and Jack is
Instead, Theo,
pretty powerful card, that Jack. He can do a ton of damage and get some value out of it as well. And here, not pulling out the Jack yet, but we're going to see that Tripwire Grenin to start, and that's a clean way to take out that Icaria. Gotta love that extra summon deal 1 damage to take out a big threat like Icaria.
right, yeah. The issue with Huru Kira decks is that even though they run a lot of 2 drops, those 2 drops are basically 3 drops in disguise because they're 1 health 2 drops, and if you tap out for them, they die to just about anything, such as the summon of a Tripwire Grenadine. Now, Theo once again top decks another Silex, gets a treasure trove, and the question is, now do we see the Jack?
And it looks like we do. Here comes that Jack, but that Bubble Shield's going to protect it this time.
Yeah, turn 3 as Huru Kira, you can't just let your opponent run you over. So Male's hand is sort of forced, has to pop that Bubble Shield, which actually completely negates Jack's summon. So not only does the Hojin survive, the Jack doesn't get to deal damage to the face, doesn't draw another card, which oh right, he already triggered the Total Pioneer, so no double dipping on the extra power.
All right, looks like I do have the hand cams pulled up, so thanks for the patience for that. But you can see in hand, we've got Krull, we've got the Smuggler, we've got a Jotun Hurler, and a Snowball. So not a fantastic hand here for Male. I think I'd prefer to be an Overmaster spot right now.
Yeah, I mean it can definitely be better for Male. The thing about these Huru Kira decks is, these unfair decks is that sometimes you just get sort of put behind, under the gun, because if you're in the draw and your opponent's carving out on you and your first real play is turn 3, that can get rough in a hurry. And as we see, Theo's draw is just turning up fantastic. He is pumping on all cylinders, and now the throne room's active with the face agent. So Male certainly has his work cut out.
All right, Overmaster looking here at a hand of 2 treasure troves.
So Male missing on power, Hojin can't really block, but here is a Rhyme Conclave Smuggler. I just call it Huru Smug. going to go in the market. I have to imagine we see Bring the Justice here. You have to put away the hurler and really swing the tempo of this board. And if that Jack continues to survive, then that's going to be a problem. And yeah, as I imagine, brings the Jack to justice, and clears him off the board. But the the Overmaster now looking at another tripwire granted in for the Hojin and a torch for whatever comes next.
Yep. All right, treasure trove to see what else they got. And here comes another Grenadin drone. That's fine. Not amazing here, but it's fine. Is Mail starting to stabilize here? I mean, they're still at 14, and now they've got, this Hojin active. They've got the Rhyme Crime Smuggler to block these Grenadins. Ooh, that's a good draw. Huntress off the top for Overmaster is great.
No, this isn't even close to stabilizing because that throne room is on 2 charges right now, and this Hojin is not long for this world thanks to Tripwire Grenadin, and then this Hurler is not long for this world because of the Torch, and then the Huru Smuggler is not long for this world because of Huntress. So I expect a complete wipe in one way or another of Mail's board right now, and Daraka's coming down. We have to see if Mail is willing to throw away one of these dorks just so they don't have to burn a piece of interaction from the hand and just let Daraka stun one of the units. Probably the Jotun Hurler, if I have to imagine. But I fully expect the Overmaster is just going to completely swing this board.
All right, and here comes that Huntress down for Theo. Mail's got a Svetnya in hand, which is nice, and a Hojin, but like you said, they've got a lot of work to do to try to stabilize and answer this throne room. So the Overmaster has got their foot on the gas, looking to end this game quickly here.
Yeah, Special Lightbreaker is nice when you can use her to time walk your opponent with her summon, which is the Svecha, I'm assuming is in hand. But without that, you're playing a 5/5 Aegis for 6, and then buffing the top of your deck is not exactly the greatest thing to do when you're staring down a 7/7 Overwhelm. So Mal deploys a Baby Ikaria and ramps, and she's going to get removed by this torch. And I really think we see Theo just post on the back of the pack.
Absolutely.
Hey, well, he has a 7/7 Overwhelm.
Yeah, he had a 7/7 Overwhelm. That's pretty good. That's going to put Mail down to 2. Followed up with a Merchant just for good measure. And Mail with that Svetnya in hand, it's not going to do enough to answer the board right here. And then a mirror image out of the market for Overmaster. So Theo's going to take that one 1-0 over Mail.
Yep. Yeah, that was definitely a case of also being on the play because it was a game of tempo from start to finish.
Yeah.
And the Overmaster was just playing with more power because of the unanswered Totem Pioneer. Then there was the early Jack. Then there's a throne room, and Theo was just drawing hot fire.
Yeah.
Mail was also drawing pretty well to their credit, but the thing about these efficient decks is that they're good at parity. They're great at pressing their advantage with lots of efficient answers. But if you put them on the back foot and just tee off, cards like Hojin, cards like Baby Ikaria, some of these cards are just not great at blocking. And we kind of saw that happen, that Mail never really was able to get back to parity after starting off the game.
And we do have really important news, not to interrupt this first round, but our opponent here, Mail, we got to wish them a happy birthday. It is Mail's birthday today, so congratulations to Mail on their birthday. Everybody in chat, wish Mail a happy birthday. Hopefully they can turn this one around and win their round 1 on their birthday, but Theo is not going to make that easy, already deploying 4 Grenadins out on the board on turn 2.
Ding! Happy level up day to Mail. So Theo's gonna scout a Jeff to the bottom, no third fire influence. That Primal Sigil is gonna have to come down as power, so no Jeff food either. And now Mail's in a bit of a better position on the play. Hojin with whatever protection, probably with the protections. So Theo's just gonna say, "Here's my throne room. I'm gonna go wide. I'm gonna stack a granite for that throne room proc. Let's get going."
Here comes that Hojin. Now, Mail does have Silverblade Intrusion in hand, as well as Kira and 2 copies of Honor of Claws. So, yep, here we're going to see that Silverblade Intrusion trigger their Hojin, and this is going to line up a nice block for them. They're going to be able to gain some life, eat one of these Grenadin, get a power for their trouble. So, not a bad turn of events for Mail there. But
Oh
Theo's going to
man.
get that Aegis and that throne room down, so Mail's still going to have their work cut out for them.
Oh, right, right. Like one of the weaknesses of Hurukira is that they're not really great at interacting with relics.
Yeah.
In fact, they have no way of interacting with relics. But with Silver Blade Intrusion in hand, I was wondering if it was even correct to throw the block and fire it off, because using it to trigger both Hojin and Kira meant that Mail was essentially throwing out a card just to get that block a turn early. So I'm not sure if that was the proper line that I would have taken if I were in Mail's shoes, but we'll see how it works out for him.
All right, attacks here for the Overmaster. Hit that trigger again. Overmaster's got a lot of things going well for them and a lot of decisions to make here. 2 Huntresses in hand, a Tripwire Grenadin. No one to hold him, and they've got that Crow as well.
So if I am in the Overmaster's shoes, I don't want to miss power. So I'm going to plunder something here for additional power. The question is what? Like, Huntress's plunder is one of those decisions that make these decks so skill intensive. So again, we sort of see that lack of that burn Silverblade Intrusion coming to bite Mail, you know, it, pretty hard here, as Kira dies to the Huntress, and then the Tripwire Grandin goes face, gets Daraka a turn ahead of time, and once again, Mail's on the back foot, staring down, a board that's taking up throne room every turn, and Daraka, you know, not a great play for 6 power because it dies to removal, but hey, when it comes with a free with face Aegis, and no additional power, and the threat of Eileen later on doming something for 6, much better in that perspective.
So things still looking pretty good for Overmaster here. They've got that quick start both of these games, putting Mail on the back foot, and I think you nailed it with this. Kira deck is very good, but it doesn't play great from the back foot. It's really looking to get ahead. This is a pretty good play, though. Give that Hojin endurance, break that stun that it had, make it an 8-7 lifesteal, get in for some damage here. So that's something. Now, this Palace is just going to die this turn, so it's kind of a one-shot. Well, maybe not. It has endurance.
Nope,
it does endurance,
right.
So... Well, this can deal 1 damage. If Theo wants to, they can deal 1 to the site.
No, you go face with it, because ultimately, if you're swinging at the site, you're most likely swinging to kill, and Daraka just overpowers a 6/5 Hojin.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you can send the board at the Palace, or you can just send the board at face. In fact, if I am Theo right now, I swing for I think I swing face, but not before imbuing Huntress on Daraka, take out the Hojin cleanly, turn the power into a treasure trove, and then I'm up to 5 ticks on my throne room, threatening Eileen with Aegis. So Theo disagrees with me, wants to want to just take out the palace. Doesn't want that wisdom of the elders going off. So now we see the Huntress come down, imbue the Raka, take out the Hojin. And once again, Mail is far behind, staring at a huge board, 4 cards in hand, but only 6 power to deploy them with. For his sake, I hope he has some way of accessing pristine light this turn. Honor of Claws is not going to do it, and they are going to take a huge attack to the face. And on top of that, Island's going to come.
All right, Overmaster's board pretty dominant here. That Huntress does stick around as a 9/8 as well. Here comes an Icaria for Mail, but you know that's not really going to do a lot here. You can block some creatures, but you're not blocking the 9/8. Theo with a Fire Sigil for hand for the draw here, not going to be super helpful, but they don't really need much. All they really need to do at this point is end the game as soon as possible.
Right, right. So Theo's just going to cash in that Acquisitive Crow for a swipe. Not the line I would have taken to throw it away because here comes. Oh, did I miscount? I thought that was going to trigger Eileen. So apparently there's one more tick on the throne room.
Yeah, that was 5, and so after the 6,
Okay.
so they've got one more on throne room. So yep, one off,
Okay.
but still triggering next turn though. And like you said, unfortunately, Mail just doesn't really have anything in the deck to pop an Aegis and pop that relic and come from behind. That's just not what this deck is designed to do at all.
No. And we see Kira here, and usually Kira would be great, but again, Kira decks need to have a board and attacking to really get going. And so, yeah, Mail's going to be for.
Mm-hmm. An island with and then grabbing a swift refusal to just make sure that Mail doesn't pull any shenanigans. Yep. 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 And that's a pretty smart play to think about when you are ahead like this, to not play sloppy. And Theo just showing exactly what to do, which is think about how can I lose this game? How can I either press my advantage and win the game faster, or how can I protect myself from lose the game? Those are good questions to ask, and grabbing Swift Refusal is a great example of a way to protect themselves to make sure that Mail can't come back. So still in really great shape here. Gonna go ahead and get a Treasure Trove off the Silex and grab a Tripwire Grenadin. Effective, but little late for that. Now, Mail does have a Bubble Shield in hand, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough here. I assume they're going to protect the Hojin with it here. Yep, absolutely. Yep. Yep. And there's the first one. Mail going to go ahead and get that chump block. Going to draw a Hurler for turn. Snowball Kira to just draw an extra card here. Snowball on anything on Overmaster's side doesn't really do anything. Drew a Justice Etchings. Here comes that. They're going to play out the Icarius and then play the Justice Etchings on the Icaria. So do you Swift Refusal this if you're Theo? Just wait to see what they get. Okay, I'll mail. Now, Akaria can block, of course, because of the endurance. Also, that ability does trigger that Siditi in hand to make that a 7/7. It's probably not going to be super relevant in this game, but nice little value there. Yeah. Yep. There's that Siditi, but it's going to work. And then is this so each enemy does Island hit the face or it didn't had a we had a torch on top. Yeah, I thought Theo had a torch on top. Must have put it at the bottom. I was anticipating the torch to the face and then the and then the island, but bubble shield anyway would have protected that. There we go. And Mail's going to pack it in. Too much for Theo there. So that was pretty impressive. Very, very fast out of the gates there for Theo's deck. That seemed pretty quick. And Mail, as you mentioned, the Kira deck just doesn't play well from behind. Too much for them to handle there. So the Overmaster is going to take that one 2-0.